So suddenly we couldn't move in, we couldn't stay, and we're literally homeless homeowners. We owned the home and we had nowhere to go. I was calling my friends. I'm like, I feel like I'm in college right now and I screwed up some big thing and I like all of a sudden don't have a place to live. What is happening right now?
So you were couch surfing?
With a baby.
Yeah. Follow, make that cash. Under all is the land, real estate. Courtney and friends about to show you how to generate wealth. Get educated, do for yourself. Add a couple notches to your belt. Under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real estate. Coming to you live from ACME Real Estate in Los Angeles, California.
Welcome to another exhilarating episode of Under All is the Land. I am your host, Courtney Poulos, here with my rock star co-stars, Silke Fernald.
Hello.
And Dominique Madden.
Hi.
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 How's
Hey.
it going? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's going
look
great.
beautiful.
Thank you. You do too.
Thank you.
We
So do
fancy
you.
today.
Well, it's my birthday.
It is your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
29 again?
Sure.
So it's been a couple of weeks. You went on vacation.
I did.
Yes. How was that?
Mexico City. It was amazing.
Was it amazing?
It was beautiful.
What was your favorite place in Mexico City?
I have to say, my favorite place was the center. Like there's this plaza, and they had these beautiful Dia de los Muertos doll, like skeleton, giant-sized dolls set up, and ofrendas, those altars with all flowers, and it's gorgeous, very special.
Wow. That sounds very cool. Was the food really good? I heard
my
the food is
gosh.
amazing
It's
in Mexico
amazing.
City.
It is incredible.
So you recommend it?
I love that.
Where did you
city.
stay?
We stayed in a part called Condesa. It's sort of by Roma. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of
So
any of
there's
it.
this there was this movie Roma who won Best Picture a few years ago. It's this black and white, like 3-hour-long movie.
Okay.
Anyway, I digress. We stayed in Condesa next to Roma, and it's great. It was an Airbnb and just super. It was amazing. The people are so friendly. It almost makes me depressed being back here in LA.
Wow.
I know.
People are wound way too freaking tight. I was shooting an
I know that
episode
came
of
out maybe wrong, but what I'm trying to say.
No, I know what you're saying.
It was just so beautiful, and everybody is so attentive and friendly and kind, and it just felt calm.
Right.
You know, and the city is 5 times bigger than LA, but it still
Yeah, but
didn't feel like it. It just I was surprised how it doesn't feel crammed at all there.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
beautiful
I loved
and
it. It was
amazing.
great.
I love Mexico too. I've been to a few great places. I went to Troncones, which I absolutely love, and of course Tulum, and like a few places outside of Tulum. But really love Troncones. But I love the Mexican people. Like the culture is so warm, and I feel like that's true everywhere I've ever been in Mexico. I went to Valle de Guadalupe, same. It was just like, you know, it's definitely cultural. I think to be
yeah,
inviting and
Yeah.
warm, and
I'm a huge fan.
yeah, I'm a huge fan too.
Yeah.
Totally. But as far as LA goes, I was gonna say I shot an episode of The American Dream this week with Jose. He did the West Adams bike tour, so we actually got on bikes. I haven't ridden a bike in LA like maybe ever. Only on the beach, you know, but never like in town.
In traffic.
It was great. It was fine. The bike lanes, great
Okay.
for bikers, turns out.
Cool.
Bicyclists. Yeah. Because I
So
hate
you were
them
on a
as
bike?
a driver. I hate them. I'm like so annoyed. But actually, on the bike, it was like great to have your own space. It was wonderful. But there were like people who this guy drove by and started shouting at us out of the back window, like, "Hey, I'm on a bike. I'm on a bike. I'm on a bike, and I'm on Instagram. I'm filming on the bike. I'm on the bike." And it was like
my God.
nasty.
Yeah.
And you know, of course, just some idiot. But
Yeah.
I was like, damn, hateful people for what? You know, why are you hating so much? You're wound too tight.
That's it. That's what it is. It's people are wound up too tight.
Really wound. And you know what? It wasn't always like this. And so I have to just acknowledge, I hope it returns to what
chill LA.
to chill. Nick and I
West
went out the
Coast.
other night though, and we had a super great, felt like an old school time.
I was
So
gonna
know
say.
it's there.
I was
know
gonna
it's
say.
there.
Yeah.
You know, where did
we
we go?
experienced it again on Saturday night for sure.
Yeah.
Old LA, the Dime on Fairfax.
And we were dancing. The whole place was dancing. The
Oh,
music
it was
was
so fun.
amazing. It was like packed. And it just felt like good vibes. Like
Yeah.
it felt like old school LA, the LA I live. So I know it's there.
Do you think everybody's so tight because elections are tomorrow?
No, I think people are tight.
No?
Well, maybe there's more political conversation now in LA than there ever was before, like that I can remember in 25 years. It's been 23 years. I don't remember the politics being so pervasive, antagonistic. People were divisive. People were kind of on the same page. We all want the same things. Like, it's expensive to live here. If that city feels unsafe, people will leave, and I don't know.
Speaking of expensive, we ate like the most amazing food for a fraction of what it would cost here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Because
Yeah.
here you pay for ambiance.
That's true.
That's
true.
Yeah. You pay for the Michelin star chef. Okay, so I want to talk real estate for a second before we bring on our special guest, which I'm very excited about.
Okay.
I've had a couple experiences with lenders lately, and I don't know if you guys feel like this is true too, but in the recent past, it kind of felt like everybody was operating with the same programs, one lender to the other. It was more about service than about rates. Everybody was kind of at the same place. Maybe it's because they couldn't go any lower. But now the difference between the rates at different lenders is dynamic. It's like huge. Like some people are getting 7% interest rates. Some people are getting 5.875 interest rates. And some people are getting even lower than that. Like, we all
Special
always talk about the
programs,
Eagle
right.
program, right? But they also, First Republic has a first-time homebuyer program. And there are other ones too. I just looked at Wells Fargo's rate email to me, and they have some programs that are 5.75. And then Jose was talking about the 4.5% jumbo program at First Republic. So the interest rates are varying wildly by lenders. And the reason why I bring this up is because I think lenders need to know that. I think lenders need to remember that we real estate agents are fighting harder to get our deals done. You lenders are going to have to fight harder too. Now it's not just about relationship. It's about rates and programs in a way that it hasn't been for the past few years. So don't get mad at my clients if they decide to shop for better rates. That's what people need to do.
Or don't get mad at us because we don't send enough business, because we certainly do. But clients decide who they will go with based on rates at this point. It's nothing else.
I've always
it's the
been
rates.
that way. I've always given clients like more than one option, call everybody. I never say this is the only person you should use. And I don't think it's a fair expectation that lenders should have that we're not doing that, because I work for the client. I don't work for the lender.
No, and also they need to take, accountability for how they handle the client when the client comes to them. Because if you don't have good bedside manner and that's what that client needs, they're going to go to someone who does. If you don't have a program that helps them achieve the goals they're trying to achieve, they're going to go to someone who does. So it's like some people have the better rates, some people have down payment and closing cost assistance, and if someone needs that, guess who they're going to go to? So, I think people just need to be better with how they communicate with people and how they handle them and act like you need the business. But then also, they need to get creative with the kinds of things they're doing to solve the issue of the rising rates.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Because recently I had clients who reached out to several lenders, got qualified, but not enough. And I said, you know what? This interest rate's 7 and something. Why not? Let's call around and see if anybody else has a better program. And guess what? Somebody did and was able to get them a more competitive rate, which gave them more buying power, and they're getting the home of their dreams. Now, I feel like whenever lenders then go and call the clients and say something like, why are you going with someone else? It makes me look bad.
That also shouldn't be a phone call that happens.
It should not.
Because if we don't get a listing after a listing presentation, I don't call the client and say, why didn't you go with me? I'm
I
like,
know.
well,
It's
there
kinda
must
like
be a
there must
reason
be a
for
reason.
that. So probably the rates,
Probably the rates.
or you're not responsive.
Or you're not responsive. So there are lenders I know for a fact, my client's feedback was they don't respond. They don't call me back. I've sent an email, haven't heard anything. You can't do that now and think that the clients are just going to sit around and wait unless you have the 2% interest rate that everybody's working for. Everybody wants to find.
Yeah, but even then, let's not 2, but the 3.75.
I'm kidding. 2 doesn't exist.
But whatever, like even that, they're being fast. Like I talked to an appraiser this morning. He's like, I only work for this particular lender, and they're promising 2-day turnaround times now. I'm surprised to hear that, because that's something that feels like last year where we had to actually have 2-day turnarounds for appraisals because it was so crazy. And now things have calmed down a little bit. But he said, no, that's another thing they're adding to their product to make it more competitive, because everybody's hurting for business and everybody needs more loans. So they're doing the 2-day turnarounds even on that cheap rate, which is wonderful.
Exactly. And you know, real estate agents have to work harder to sell a house now too. And guess what? Buyers have to work harder to buy the house now too. I'm in several challenging deals where the buyers feel like they're paying fair market or more for a house that was marketed as renovated. And the sellers are really not budging on the condition stuff because they're counting their pennies and their bottom line is really important to them. Sellers have to start giving because the buyers are already starting to look at other houses. They're like, I'm going to go out this weekend and see if I can find something else. They're ready to cut bait and run, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's a warning. And it's also okay. I am not mad at it when buyers have power. But lenders need to know that it is not the agent's job to find you business. We are referring you business, but it's your job to get and keep the client. And if you aren't offering the rates that are making the deals happen, then that's a problem you have to solve, because there are a lot of lenders in the market who are.
Yep.
And that's like, with
We're
love,
talking thousands
saying
of dollars.
this with love,
Yeah.
you know, because I do love our favorite lenders. I don't always love working with lenders that I've never heard of before. But for sure, I'm with the clients on this one. If I was buying a house, I'd be shopping for rates too. Wouldn't you?
There's lots of buyers who can't afford anymore what they were trying to buy a couple months ago. So if there's this lender who gives them just a little bit more hope to get a little bit more house, they will take it.
Right. I saw this post that said buyers are acting like it's 2008 and sellers are acting like it's 2021. Yeah. And I think that like
That is
sums
perfect.
it up.
Pretty
That
much.
is right on point.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you know, we even like when we set expectations for our sellers, we're having to say, listen, it might take 3 weeks to find the right buyer. It might take 6 weeks. We don't know because some markets are still hot, like Northeast LA, still on fire, Altadena on fire. Some markets have cooled off a little bit, like some neighborhoods have inventory and people have choices. And, you know, I don't know what the cost of holding out is. I feel like if sellers are going to offer a renovated house, they better freaking fix the system stuff and be more than willing to accommodate the buyer's demands if they're reasonable. And, you know, don't act like it's 2021 because it isn't. You're going to get burned. And I know time on market is money, especially if you have a high interest
Holding cost.
Yeah,
Hard
like
money
a hard
loan.
money loan. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
People need to get with the program. But also a lot of agents are kind of like, what do I do? What can I do to sell this house? And I'm like, this is why it's important who you work with, because you need to have an agent who knows how to market in different markets in different ways and hit buyers in different ways and
That is so true.
give them
Yep.
more
This is the
creative
time to
solutions.
get creative. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw an article. It was called "Can Social Media Sell a House?" And it was focused in on a house that's become very influential on social media. And you know, the house has tens of thousands of followers, but it actually just had a price reduction, right?
Oh, wow.
So I think that speaks to the fact that, you know, there's not just one avenue that you have to hit to sell a house these days.
Yeah.
You have to go above and beyond to try to get people into it because, you know, I mean, as much foot traffic as you might get into a house, really it's making people feel incentivized to pull the trigger,
Right.
you know? And, you know, you can't cut corners. You know, despite the price, people will be looking for the little things that need to be fixed. You know, you have to really be strategic, you know, like overpricing doesn't work. They're not going to come. You know,
Right.
underpricing depends on your area.
Right.
But
Yes.
definitely you have to be like, you know, you have to really give it thought and really like go down different avenues.
Yeah, you know, I
Yeah.
also think like people could get away with kind of not amazing staging. And then they were like, well, I didn't have to pay that much for the staging and, you know, house still sold and whatever. And so I'm meeting sellers and I'm saying, okay, we definitely have to do the best staging, as I always would say. And if they suggest, well, what if we get this other person, they can do it cheaper? I'm like, no. Because what I think people are going to realize is that all the things they thought were them, like all the success that they thought was actually them, was actually the market. Mm-hmm. And they could pretty much do nothing, stage it, don't stage it, crappy staging, bad photos, MLS printout, do whatever. And the house would still sell. And they're like, see, I didn't even have to do anything.
No
and the
permits,
house still sold multiple offers.
Yeah, like stick a yard sign in on Saturday, host one shitty open on Sunday. By Monday at noon, you have 15 offers in your mailbox.
Right, you're like,
that's
I'm the
no
shit.
longer happening.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah. It's a humbling market for agents, for everybody.
It is.
For everyone,
Yeah, it's humbling.
It is, especially for the people who used to cut so many corners in the hot market when people didn't
learning.
give a shit because they just wanted to get in.
Yep.
They're definitely having to learn. And you know what? It's time.
It is.
Like,
time to
stop
smart,
doing half-cocked flips.
Yeah.
Stop doing, stop coming on the market half-cocked.
Thank you.
Period. Whether you're a flip or an owner-occupied property or an investment property, whatever.
Yeah.
Be strategic. You will
And be
do better.
strategic with the selection of your agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
the most important thing right now.
Yes.
If you want to sell your house for top dollar, hire someone who knows what they are doing.
Yeah.
End of story.
I was at the Homelight conference in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and there was this one agent that suggested, and at the time I thought, that's ridiculous. But actually, the more thought I gave to it, the more I'm like, maybe that could be actually a thing. More to protect everyone involved than just as a marketing scheme. But what he was saying is, you know how you buy a used car at CarMax and you get the warranty? Well, we sell houses with home warranties, but they are bullshit, and we all know that, right? But what if your seller is actually committed to doing the repairs that are in the general inspection report, and you give them the report and tell them we're doing everything on here, and then say it's like we're selling this with a warranty. So there are no surprises. Now, we've talked about pre-inspection reports before. It's dangerous territory because the seller actually has to want to do the thing. Mm-hmm. I think, though, if you have a willing seller who'd rather, if you frame it like it's better than a price reduction or falling out of escrow to do these things, Nick's saying no.
Nick's
face
a hard
said
no.
She's a hard
no. Big stop sign, red stop sign,
what's
stop.
happening.
Okay, why?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can speak from firsthand experience with clients who are some of my favorite clients. Like, they're literally the best. They have the most integrity I've ever seen from a flipper. And they do a great job, And, we had a particular situation where because they backed their work so much, they gave the buyers an extended warranty after close.
Right.
And those buyers had no idea, because they're first-time buyers, and so they've never seen a shitty house, what a great house they got. So the smallest of things became things that they would hit the seller up about that are just normal things that happen in a house, because a house is an imperfect thing. And as you live in it and you operate things, things happen. And it's your responsibility as an owner now to take ownership of it. That is now, you've been
your
delivered
house.
it. It's
No,
your
that's true.
house, and California is an as-is state. So as much as, people, whether whatever the product is, it's like whatever you're buying when you're closing is what you're buying. And in this case, it was literally one of the best houses I've seen.
But
they had no idea.
I'm not saying that the seller
abusive.
offers a
Yeah. It's
true
abusive.
1-year warranty outside of the third-party warranty.
Right.
I'm saying that they're making it more kind of like we've had a 10-point inspection and we've done the thing, like more of a security blanket, but not a real warranty.
Yeah,
More like an outside,
yes.
not the seller. I think the thing
Oh,
with
like
this
an
one is that the seller was offering
Right.
the warranty because she believed in her work, and I think that that's noble. But
It was definitely noble.
even when I worked for Better Shelter, who
was
did
definitely
a
noble.
pretty high quality job most of the time, I'm pretty sure, we still got phone calls, sometimes 5 years later, with threats of lawsuits if there was a crack in the foundation. Like, it's one of the things about flipping is you never know, like, how the house is going to age or like what the buyers are going to hold you accountable for, and they can get very threatening. So anyway, I don't know if that protects one more. I just feel like a lot of buyers are changing their mind now. I'm seeing a lot of things falling out.
Yeah, I just think it's a nice thing to add while you're in escrow. You can say, look, we did inspections, XYZ came up.
And
Don't
we
worry
fixed
about
it.
it. Seller will fix it. And
Right.
but then when it's fixed, that's it.
Right.
And now
But you did that recently, and do you feel like that worked? Because again, I had the same reaction as you. When he said it, I was like, bullshit.
Yeah.
Because, the people are going to find something else anyway, because that's what inspectors do. They come in, even if you fix stuff, they still find stuff.
Every inspector
because houses
has a
aren't
different thought.
brand new.
Well, and
Yeah.
also different specialists have different opinions on what
needs to be
what
done.
is right. Like you
Yeah.
could have 3 plumbers out on the same day and have 3 different opinions.
True.
That's
You know,
true,
I've
too.
had 3 roofers give me 3 different, potential ages of a roof that range from needs to be replaced to has 15 years left.
Wow. You know what? That brings up a really good point too.
Totally. But how about then?
It's true.
just be,
Different
okay,
levels of salesman.
Yeah.
How
no,
about sellers, just like, especially people who have actually
Yeah.
done a renovation on it, like just, like dot your I's and cross your T's and make sure that you're delivering a quality product
Thank you.
before the buyer goes into their inspections and finds a bunch of stuff and now feels like, I don't know about this house.
Right.
And buyers, do your inspections.
Right.
Do all of your inspections. A general inspector is not a specialist. Do not rely solely on the general inspection.
Right.
Bring people out, because if that HVAC, which that guy has no idea how to actually install or fix, goes out after close, guess what? That's your responsibility. So
Right.
bring an HVAC inspector.
yeah,
Like,
right.
it's $200 for
Yeah.
you to have assurance that you know what's going on with it.
Right.
That is a value. So be more responsible.
Neek said, bring an HVAC inspector.
There you go.
That's right. Get multiple roof bids, that's for sure. All right, I'm excited to bring on our special guest today, Tiffany Dupont, who is an ACME client. And she's an ACME client who found herself a homeless homeowner. I can't wait to hear her horror story. Had nothing to do with me, thank God. Welcome, Tiffany.
Guys, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for joining us.
Whoa, this is so nice. Hi. Hi.
Hi. How's it going?
It's going great. I actually really appreciate a rainy day in LA because I'm from the East Coast and I feel a little at home. It's very nice.
It is nice.
Can't
I
be sunny
agree.
every day, right? Like,
It's moody.
yeah.
Moody and
Fine.
sweatery.
Yes. Tiffany, will you please introduce yourself to our Under All Is the Land audience?
Yes. Hi. I don't even know where to look. There's so
Oh,
many fun
you
places
can
to
look
look.
there,
I mean,
there,
gosh,
there.
this is great. My name is Tiffany Dupont. I am an actress. I've been working in LA since 2003. I'm not going to do math right now. I love my job so much. And I'm a first-time homeowner.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
A homeowner with some stories to tell. I know
Oh,
we
yeah.
missed October with this, but it does feel a bit like a horror story.
Right. Yes. Should I just start from, what do I
Well,
do?
yeah. I mean,
It's
let's
a
talk
lot.
about the whole thing. So,
Okay.
First of all, you're one of those people that usually says, I can't get a loan because I'm an actor and sometimes
Very
I'm
hard.
working and sometimes I'm not.
Yes.
But there were loan programs available for you.
Yes. Courtney is not paying me to say any of this. You are so brilliant and you are so resourceful and you're very creative. I feel like the people that you have around you are likewise all of these things. So we did struggle with the loan process. That was the first step. Like, I'm not even going to start looking for a house if I can't pay for it. And it's so odd because the money's there, but these programs are like, you didn't get it the way we're used to seeing you get it.
Right.
I'm like, it's not drug money. What do you want from me? So you actually were the key to finding the right person, which was Hillhurst Mortgage. We love them so much. Lovely people. Like, I want to hang out with all of them. And we were like, okay, we're ready to go. And you also said something, I don't know if you say it all the time, but you said, you're going to feel a little uncomfortable. The price of the house that you buy is going to push you past your comfort zone. Trust me, you're going to be okay. You're going to be able to do it. And you were so right. We got down where every time we found something we liked, we always got outbid, of course. And
That's what
it's
was
like, how do we
happening.
create more money? What are we going to do? This is all we have. But we restructured it with the brilliant Doug Smaldino at Hillhurst Mortgage. I'm name dropping because they
we love-
deserve it.
we love
us
us some
Hillhurst.
Dougie
Oh,
Small.
he's so fantastic.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, I have an idea. And he like worked his magic. You guys came up with it all. And then we were able to pull the trigger on our house.
Yeah.
When was this?
Oh, April 15th, tax day.
And what
This
happened?
very
This
year.
This year.
Oh,
yeah.
this year.
Yeah, we've been in just over 6 months.
So the awesome thing about it is it was in the height of the
Oh my God.
Bubble,
Was
bubble.
it ever? Oh.
And part of being a successful first-time home buyer is getting on the field and playing and writing. But if you really do have limitations and it's succeeding, that is what it is. But there is a house for you. You just can't give up. And
kept
so
saying
there
that.
was a house
Yep.
for us. It was a coming soon. I got the email. I sent it. We wrote on it. We got it. And bada bing, bada boom.
Well, you actually, she saw it, and then you reached out to the seller's agent immediately. Like, would you take this for it? You immediately were like, boom,
like the top number.
like I'm just gonna ask right away. And then the woman was like, "We'll have your buyers come in and take a look, and then we'll talk." And I kept saying, "We're gonna get lucky. We're gonna get lucky. We need to get lucky." All of my friends' stories, there's some element of like unforeseeable luck that came and lined up, and I'm like, "Keep going. Something's gonna work out." And sure enough, it never went on market. If this house had gone on market, it would have been at least $200 higher than what we paid.
For sure.
At least,
got a
and we
deal.
wouldn't have gotten it. So we got a deal.
Amazing.
I
Thanks
love
to Courtney.
stories like this.
I know.
It starts
It's so
off
beautiful.
so
It starts
well.
off like that though. But you know, this is the truth too. Sometimes the offer, you know, like the process sucks, but then the, you know, closing and moving in, everything is great. In this case, it went a little like the process of getting the house and closing everything was smooth.
It was so easy.
And
It
then
was
what
so
happened?
easy.
Was it too easy to be true?
It
too
seemed,
good
I
to
was
be
like,
true?
everyone talks about this. It's so hard. I mean, we did this. Doug, we just gave him this. He's like, I got it. I signed it. Everything was great. I didn't even read it. Yeah,
And then
whatever
what
you want.
happened?
Yeah, and then what
So
happened?
then we also learned a lot from Courtney and Aisha looking at the houses to really look creatively. And I find myself to already be a very creative person. I love interior, and environment really affects me, and it's part of what I do, etc. But there were quite a few homes that we would go in and you could be like, oh, you could, and I'm like, this is awful. There's no saving this house. I don't know what she's talking about. This is
I was trying
horrid.
to create possibility.
Yes, and you're very good at it. You were exceptionally good at it. So
Thank God.
Thank God. No, it's true. You're almost like, is she selling me some bullshit? Because like I don't understand. Like, how do you make her nice? But she's not. That's what.
Selling
Not at
bullshit.
all. That's what's so impressive is that you actually are right. That there's so much you can do with the space.
So much you can do,
And
yeah.
and after doing this so often as you do, like you really can see past
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
disgusting
That's
something
called-
was.
that is
it's the
experience.
vision. You know,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
the experience.
We
yeah.
learned, I feel like I started to learn that after all of the houses. And you'd be like, well, no, because if you do boop, 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 and you're like, oh, yeah, no, cool, I get it. So I say that because this house was set up in a way that it was more foreseeable, like what we could do. It was more approachable. And my design, I was like, oh, this all is too dark. If we do. And anyway, we saw the vision. We had a budget prepared for said vision. And we immediately started taking
Contractor meetings.
yeah, just getting all the meetings and getting all the numbers and the bids. We had about 6 guys come out, everyone from like super professional, licensed, the whole 9 yards, to like somebody's handyman. And I think the term handyman is really important because there are a lot of really talented guys that just aren't licensed. So they have to call themselves handymen, but they're really, really capable. So we went through all of these guys. We had a limited budget and needed a really strong person that could execute what we wanted for not as much as it probably should cost.
Right.
So good friends of ours. And before I say anything else, I love these people more than life. They did nothing wrong. It's not their fault. But they offered
There's
said
always a but.
handyman. And this guy comes over and he was so lovely, great personality, and had all, he knew what to do. I can do this, I can do this. His quote was significantly lower than any other one we had received. And I knew it was going to go up. We all know they're going to ask you to
Change orders
Oh,
and
sorry, we
whatever.
need this.
Right.
So
Cost of wood.
Right, it's expensive.
The cost
so
of wood.
cost of air, cost of me standing here right
Yeah.
now is just gone up, guys. I'm sorry. Like, what is happening?
I just got another 5,000 followers
Sorry,
on Instagram.
I just need it right now.
Question.
Yeah.
Did you do a time and materials contract or did you do a project-based contract?
Lovely word, contract. So that's
A contract.
So when you have good friends and like they love him and like everything's fine, we didn't have a contract. That's a big mistake. We learned the hard way. He was a lovely handyman and he did so much work for them and did, things around their house like shifting color and like couple small things, a lot of small things. We needed some major stuff changed. Like we shifted a laundry room to a master bath. We, just really big. We added a kitchen island, like pulling things apart, adding things, changing a closet and extending it, making it bigger, like real stuff. And this guy was like, I can do it for this much. Cut to, of course, a few weeks in. I need more. I was ready for this. Great. Here's more, buddy. Great. Next time, I need more. Great. Here's more. 3 times he needs more. The 3rd time I said, we actually truthfully do not have anything else. What do you need to finish? I need this much. It was a Wednesday. We were standing in front of the tree, under the tree in front of our house. I remember it like it was yesterday. He said, I need this much. I can finish by Friday. I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be like next Tuesday or Wednesday, but okay, this much, fine. Cool, let's do it. So the next day, his workers show up. He does not. They work. The next day, Friday, his workers show up. He does not. We get a phone call from him in utter duress, emotional, crying, sad. I'm so sorry. I can't do this. My wife is upset with me. This project is too much. Just like on and on and on. I can't do it. I'm not coming. I can't do it. I'm not coming. Before that, cut to, we were supposed to move in 2 weeks before that, and we showed up, and he knew. I should have said this beforehand. When we moved in, we're like, hey, we're moving in on Saturday. Yeah, great. Saturday morning, we show up. It's a construction war zone. You can't even walk. There's planks, there's raw nails, and crap everywhere. Very dangerous. And I'm like, there's nowhere to put any boxes. And he acted like he was surprised we were coming when we had told him, we're moving in on Saturday. Luckily, my husband is very smart and knew what to do, and he got some buddies. They moved everything into the garage. Thank God we had a 2-car large garage, new storage unit of everything we own.
And she has a new baby. I mean,
sorry.
like,
Throw that
can we
in.
add that to the mix?
Throw in my 5-month-old child at the time.
Oh my God.
And nowhere to go. So the thing that happens is we're in a rental. Our landlord, who's a very good friend, who's lovely, had another tenant coming in. She had 2 other properties that were being renovated. Our unit needed to be renovated, our little house. So she had a whole schedule of guys lined up, paid for, on a time schedule because someone's moving in that she couldn't change, and it's not her fault. So suddenly, we couldn't move in, we couldn't stay, and we're literally homeless homeowners. We owned the home and we had nowhere to go. I was calling my friends, I'm like, I feel like I'm in college right now, and I screwed up some big thing, and I like all of a sudden don't have a place to live? What is happening right now?
So you were couch surfing?
With a baby. We literally have nowhere to go. And then this is when he was like, okay, I need more money again. And that's when I said, how much? Tell me the number. You promise. I promise. I said, you promise me you can do this. Yes, I promise. By Friday. And I'm like, yeah. He said, yes. I'm like, okay, next week. And then cut to Friday morning, he doesn't show up. And he calls us literally like crying, hyperventilating. And what I think is so bizarre and also troubling about that is it's so confronting and unfair that you're like in this position where somebody's calling you crying. I hired you to do a job you say you can do. I'm the one with no home and I literally said, we have a baby. Where are we supposed to go? We have nowhere to go and you're not finishing? He just said, I can't do it. Had all of our money because we trusted him. Paid him up front. I have to pay my guys. No contract. So you're kind of like, oh, I feel really stupid. I should have had a contract. Why did I give him the money? But this goes back to dear friends and you trust. And again, it's not their fault because he didn't do that with and he didn't do it with them at all.
Right.
It was smaller jobs that were more approachable for him that he could handle. And so I think what happened was this guy did get overwhelmed. He bit off more than he could chew, and then found himself in a very bad fight. He didn't manage his project properly. And I'm like, that's your job. That is your job.
Right.
I'm not going to call the director crying saying, I can't figure out my lines. Like, that's my job. Like,
right.
That's what you do. So you couldn't figure out how to manage your time and your money and your workers. I'm now stuck moving into a house with 2 completely unfinished bathrooms and crap everywhere. My husband had to finish half the floors. He did the countertop installations. He did the island.
Handy husband.
Thank God. Handyhusbands.com. Let's start it.
That's a great idea.
Handsome handy husbands? I mean, whatever. I haven't thought about this already.
Dangerous. You might get the wrong kind of phone call.
It's okay. They charge more for those. It's okay. We'll figure it out. No problem.
Yes.
You got money to
Got that
recoup,
money
right?
coming back.
We need to pay for the... So,
Yes.
Right.
So it was just like we moved in and we finally moved in. The baby's room was like the safe room, literally. And then we had to brush our teeth in the kitchen sink forever. And finally, we got to a point where we were in there probably 3 or 4 months with nothing done. And it's very, very stressful. You can't, there's no rest, you know? Anybody moving knows that. And your stuff is still in boxes. Everything's gross and half taped, blue tape. I mean, it's just a mess.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Great.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely. The difference is
Glutton for punishment.
well, you learn, right? You learn the guy who cost a little bit more
would have been the
would
better
have stretched.
bet.
It would have been smarter to do.
And usually for most people, it saves you money in the end to go with the slightly more expensive contractor.
Yes, and we were told don't take the cheapest guy. I was told that later, like don't
Right,
ever take
after.
the lowest bid. And now we know why.
So you had to wait to save more money to finish the job.
Yes.
And you never saw him again.
No.
That money's gone.
He
He's
said,
gone.
"I want to fix it. I want to fix it for Tiffany. I feel so bad." That's adorable. I appreciate that you feel bad. My child and I had no. I mean, it was just like, we're not friends. Like, you have a job, you have to do your job. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand why you feel bad. Why are you calling me crying? Like, it's very emotionally manipulative.
It is.
And
Well,
like,
it feels also like something that is
It happens all the time.
yeah.
So-
it's a calculated sort
Yeah,
of
okay,
let me
yes.
cry because she's going to feel for me.
Right.
well, and they also knew we actually had no more money. They
Yeah.
knew we had arrived at that point. And I've heard, this is what's so alarming about this whole process, the number of people that say, oh yeah, that happens all the time. Oh, that happened to me. Oh, that happened to my friend. Why is it normalized that contractors say, yes, I'm going to do this job for you, and then don't do it? The emotional manipulation to get out of it at the end when they knew you couldn't pay anymore. If he thought maybe we had a little more money, he probably
You would have
would
done
have.
this a couple more times.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think a lack of specialty is being normalized because
Also.
anyone can market themselves now online on social media as anything,
Right.
without any real
Verification.
backing behind that. Exactly. And it's like, you know, you also depend on referrals, right? So
Yeah.
you know, if someone has a good experience even with a smaller job, you're like, well, you know, just like you were.
Yeah.
But you know, and the thing with LA, especially with these, like with contractors and handyman, is that they have so much work. They have
Yes.
so many people reaching out to them that things can fall through the cracks and they're still good.
That's-
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
everybody can do everything. It's like, how can you possibly do
Yeah.
everything?
Well-
That's not really a thing.
No.
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to bring in subs if there's something they don't know
They
how to
did
do.
for plumbing, thank God.
Yeah.
They did for plumbing and I think electrical, but they're guys, and that's another problem. The workers were lovely.
Right.
It's the guy running the workers who also was, I mean, I'm maybe being too nice. He was so sweet,
He robbed you.
but he robbed me.
Yeah.
No. And like,
I got robbed
The
by a
sweet
nice
man.
contractor too.
Yes.
And guess what?
Yeah,
Mine was licensed.
yeah, that's crazy.
So there better be consequences, but the reality of it is there is a whole sub game going on of contractors robbing homeowners.
Yeah.
And
It's really
so
scary.
we do a lot in renovation resale, as you know.
Yeah.
And I've heard horror stories from our flippers about people who just take their money and run, of course.
Yeah.
And then you start getting contracts, and you think that's going to protect you. But if dude runs out of the country or to another state or something, you're not going to get your money back. They can go. They can disappear.
Or
They
you
aren't
have to
even
take
the
him
right
to
names.
court, and you got to do all
My
like who's
God.
doing that? No,
I
I mean,
know.
geez.
You just, I guess the better way is to not pay everything up front and we keep a substantial amount of
Right.
money back
Right,
until
but
the
she
final.
Well,
No.
and I did pay up front, and I actually called our friends and I
Not
said,
all of it up front. Oh, you paid it all up front?
No.
Oh,
Every
no.
time he needed more,
Right, that
you
was
added
supposed to be-
more. Yeah.
You know, that's your incremental payment.
Right.
But there was
but
never
here's-
an increment. I think he needed more on top of what it was already
He
agreed upon.
he
right?
said it's going to be this much, and then we knew it was going to. And, oh, sorry, I need a little bit more, and then I need a little bit more 3 times. He said I need a little bit more 3 times.
But
and
you
the
didn't
fine-
have you didn't have monuments of the okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
thing I
That's
found is that you have to hit certain milestones and actual, you know, like completion status to release more. So
Right.
that way you know that like, okay,
There's a
you're actually there's
structure.
actually progress happening.
Right.
Versus,
This,
like,
I'm learning all of this right now.
But let's
So
also face
fantastic.
it, like sometimes these guys are like bullies. They treat it depends on a lot of
Oh,
things.
yeah.
I hate to say it because I know it's not politically correct, but some cultures respect women more than others. Oh
yeah.
And I have been absolutely in conversations with contractors where I'm like, they think I'm stupid.
I was definitely spoken to a certain way. I was not looked at. I was only spoken to when money was being address because he just assumed I had to say yes, which is true. I mean, we both had to say yes, but yeah, it was all like Cristiano for everything.
All
and
the
then,
things.
get Stephanie. And I'm like, my name is Tiffany. It's okay. No big deal, buddy.
So what would you do differently again if you had to do it again?
So I may have still trusted the good friend because we have so many friends in our community that have done this. You know, many of them that have great guys. I would probably explain that I've been through this thing. I'm not going to be able to pay you without work being completed. I would have a contract, and I won't take the lowest bid. That's for sure. You have to trust that somehow money's going to work out, which is always rough in a freelance market that I am in. You just never know. But it's just not worth it. It's not worth the headache. And we ended up having to do friends and family borrowing to be able to complete the bathrooms because we got to a point, this is really important. You and I think we talked about this. We got to a point where if all the shit hit the fan and we were high and dry, we couldn't rent the house the way it was, and we couldn't sell the house the way that it was.
Because it was unfinished.
It was unfinished. We were like sitting on this property it was dead.
That's not no appraiser would appraise.
No,
'cause
right.
you can't do anything. Nothing was done. So we were like, oh, we need to do this. I was like, oh, I'll just be cool and use the kitchen sink for a while. You can't do it. So
just eat ramen
Well,
noodles for a few months.
right. Okay.
We
No,
had,
thank you.
especially in the hotter market for sellers, because I think it's a hot market for buyers right now.
That's
But
right.
anyway, for the hotter sellers market, a lot of times buyers are like, we're going to just have to take a house that needs work.
Yes.
And there are varying levels to this. That's why I personally love a shitty flip. I love
Yes.
shitty flips. And I always tell my buyers, think of a shitty flip as an option because if the systems work is done, then you can focus on the cosmetics. You can replace the laminate floors. You can da. But when you have to start doing systems work too, it's a lot more work than it looks like it is, and a lot of buyers bite off more than they can chew. And I'm not saying you would be a poster child for that because I think you have the capacity, obviously.
We figured
the
it
vision,
out.
the thing,
Yes.
you've got a handyman husband, you're not like a novice, but your issue was in the contracting part.
Correct.
A lot of people, they get overwhelmed with choices. Like they're like, I have to choose hinges and
know, we
faucets
loved
and light
all of that.
fixtures
That is the
and
best.
sinks and
Give me some
countertops
hinges.
and floors, and they make weird choices then. What?
Give me some hinges.
Give me some
I can
hinges. Okay, she's
pick
got
a hinge.
hinges now.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Well, we had that was another piece of this home that we got lucky with because the systems were good.
Right.
We all of that was fine. It was an older home that just hadn't been updated, but it wasn't disgusting.
Right.
And we were able, like the cosmetic stuff was fun and not the problem, but we needed to.
Have help to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
So how does it look now?
Oh, it's so
It's
pretty.
beautiful.
It's all done.
It was dark. It's a craftsman. Am I saying the right thing?
It
Yeah,
is,
It's
yeah.
a craftsman. So everything was like all the dark framing, the dark wood, dark, which is a look, and it's great. We brightened and lightened all of it. We kept some of it traditional, but we're doing a little bit of a funky splash in there, clean, modern.
Really nice finishes. You know what you did in your
Yes.
bathroom is really beautiful.
Thank
Can you
you.
tell
Which-
us about
which
that? Because
bathroom?
the pink bathroom.
The pink bathroom. Okay, I don't even like pink, and I love it. It's so
Yeah,
great.
it's so good.
So we worked with partnerships with Portolo Paints, and I love those guys. They're so smart. And it's basically a Roman clay plaster that feels like silk on the wall, and it's got texture, so there's movement, and it's like a deep, dusty, like mauvey pink.
Yeah.
And
Classy.
before
Like
it was
blush.
it was like gross manila nasty on the wall with the dark brown, and some hideous, weird 1980s. I don't know what that sink was. I have no idea. I can't even articulate. So the light fixture above the mirror, the sticker of the price of it was still on there. Oh, yeah. And they bought the house in 2014. So these are the kinds of people that owned the house. They had cute stuff all around, but I don't know what, I was like, you aren't paying attention to any of this. Okay. So we pulled all of that out, did the wall, all the trim was white. My husband installed the floors. And then we didn't have time and money to change out like the bathtub and all the heavy lifting. So good friends of ours were like, just get the aesthetic going, nice rug, nice shower curtain, change everything to matte black, boom. And it
And it
really
works.
looks beautiful.
It
in there.
totally looks beautiful in there.
So-
But
I
that
need to wait some
paint,
photos too.
Yes,
at
we
this
have
point.
we have
Yeah,
one light to install left, and then I'm like,
yeah,
the
I'm gonna
reveal.
have to include a photo.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 100%.
Well, thank you so much for coming on our show and
So
sharing
great.
your story. So the lesson to everybody is,
Don't take the lowest bid. Have a contract. Oh God, there's so many lessons.
don't
Listen
pay
to
everyone
everything
upfront.
Courtney says. Get her to buy and sell your house. Her entire team is incredible. Seriously, learned so much from you. We're so grateful.
oh,
for you.
whoa, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Tiffany,
Great.
before we let you go,
Oh.
can you please just share with us some of the fit and finish that you used for your house?
Yes. So we are super grateful. Number one, our floors, Simply Floors in LA. Ask for Danny. Tell him Tiffany sent you. Tiffany and Cristiano. We got these floors that I cannot believe aren't actually real. They are gorgeous. They're not real wood, but what's amazing is it's like the luxury vinyl something. I'm not an expert.
It's luxury vinyl. But wait, I have seen these floors in person, and you know I hate vinyl floors or
hate
anything
them
laminate,
too.
fake. Beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
You would never know.
would never know. I'm almost like, oh, I
Do
just
they
told everybody.
feel like
Yes.
They sound, feel.
The first thing I did when I walked in
Yeah,
your house
you
is I got
touched
down
the
on the
floor.
floor to
I'm not
touch them.
convinced.
And
Yeah.
the pattern
I've seen
doesn't
it.
repeat.
You don't believe it.
You can't see it. You'll see photos.
They're wide plank, wider than normal.
Like
I
we
have
got
to-
it.
Yes.
They look just like this.
They actually look just like what you guys
They're
have done.
really good.
We have to touch and feel.
You can
for
touch it. You can
ourselves.
lie
Yeah.
down on it. But
Oh,
what's
shit.
incredible is drop your phone.
Getting wild in here.
They're waterproof and scratch
testing
proof.
them.
Yeah.
So we could put them in the bathroom. We have a baby, and I was like, I don't care. My baby's not gonna. And you're like, wait, I don't have to worry about my floors. This is awesome. And they look. I was so scared it was going to cheapen the vibe of the entire space, and it doesn't. They're
doesn't. They look
Gorgeous.
amazing.
So thank you so much, Danny at Simply Floors, LA in Van Nuys. They're incredible. He was so smart, knew everything. We were so grateful for him. And then we Concrete Seeks in our beautiful modern bathroom that is almost done. By the way, all of our partnerships, we are sorry that it's taken so long because we had a contractor F us over. So big delay in everything. Huge. Claire paint in the bathrooms and accent walls, and also Portola paints, Roman clay on the wall. It's not a paint, it's a clay.
All right.
Amazing. That's so cute. That's a total promo.
I just didn't even know I said that. Anyway,
yeah,
perfect.
That was great. That was brilliant.
I love it.
Well, thank you again for coming
Thanks for
on. I
having
really
me.
appreciate
So
it.
fun.
Such a pleasure to see
Thanks,
your
Jen.
transformation.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
All
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I hate to hear somebody have a hard time, but I think there's a reality that, like, when buyers are buying houses and they think we can just do it, or when people are like, why should I pay so much for a house that's been renovated? They're making so much profit. You don't realize the headache and the risk that you're taking buying a house that needs renovation. If you don't have the extra money or the experience to, like, really give yourself a contingency for error, it can be challenging, heartbreaking even. And you might find yourself a homeless homeowner.
Yeah.
So true.
But at least she's got a sense of humor about it.
Amazing. I can't wait to see the product.
Oh my God, the floors are beautiful though.
Okay.
And the wall, that clay that's not paint.
I love
so
it.
good. So good. We'll post some photos and direct you to Tiffany's Instagram where she was documenting the trials and tribulations of renovating her house. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you on the next episode of Under All Is the Land.
See you soon.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.
Couple notches till you built. Under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real under all is the land. Under all is the land. The real estate. Coming to you live from ACME Real Estate in Los